He said one, and I thought it was one, and that's my fault. What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Tony Massey. It is the MixNSingles podcast. We're back. We took a long little break, but we are back, and I'm so excited about this evening. Again, I'm one of your hosts, but I think the most insignificant, because when I look to my right, my damn. We got One, the poetess, is in the building.
Actually, One, the CEO.
The CEO, my bad. You have so many monikers. I tend to forget which one we're using this time.
It's all
so
good.
it's One, the CEO. Get it right, right. Mm-hmm. And of course, our girl T Dot, she's getting some rest, so she left the show in our capable hands. But we're gonna represent for on this evening, and I'm excited.
I'm super excited.
I don't even want to look over there. That's how excited I am.
I'm definitely a fan. I'm like, where's the drum roll?
Right.
Where's the drum roll?
I was surprised that a whole entourage didn't come in because we have a H-Town legend in the building.
Yes, we do.
A media mogul. She's a author. She's a speaker. She's a philanthropist.
Yes.
She's a jack of all trades and the master of every damn one of them.
And she's a life coach.
Yes. She will get your life right. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, Miss JJ on the mic.
Yay!
What is up?
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here.
Such a great introduction. I feel honored.
Man,
I'm so glad to be here.
Definitely honored to have you, man. I'm so anxious. I don't even know where to start.
I know, right?
Oh my gosh.
It's too much.
And I'm just reading up on some of the things that you've done. I'm just so moved by your story. But I wanted to, before I just jump into all of your accolades and everything, the first thing I wanted to ask you is what triggered that moment in your life? What was that pivotal moment in your life that triggered that I need to grow me? I need to work on self-love and build me.
That's me.
Yeah. I thought it was a ghost in here. I was like, wait a minute. Ooh, y'all didn't tell me somebody else.
Everybody excited.
I coming out of this abusive relationship, I remember sitting down with my dad, and I talk about this in my book, and we're sitting on the bar stools in his kitchen, and I'm telling him what's going on in this relationship, and my dad, he puts his hand on my back, and he says, "You've been abused." And I'm like me, you know? And he's like, "Jillian, you got to believe me because I've seen this." My dad was a cop. And so he said, "I've seen women go through this." And I could not understand that it was abuse because there wasn't something physical that took place. And so it was hard for me to see it. And as time went on, I saw my dad cry for the first time ever in my life. And this is my dad, like my dad and I were really close. Mm-hmm. And that was the moment that I was like, oh, shoot, my dad can see something that I can't see. So I need to get some help. And my dad kept saying, you need to go see somebody. But my ego would not allow me to do it. He wanted me to go to like a women's group, like you need to like a support group or something. I was like, Daddy, people know I'm on the radio and TV and they're gonna be all in my business. And my dad was like, well, people see your business on Facebook anyway. You tell all your business on Facebook anyway, so go see somebody. And I did. And then on that journey is what led me to discovering myself.
Mm-hmm.
So you talked about the book. The book is called Without Bruises, A Journey to Hope, Help, and Healing.
Yeah.
This book is amazing.
Oh,
amazing.
Thank you.
So I'm going to be honest. So I bought the book a couple of years ago when it first came out.
Wow.
And I wish I could say that I bought the book because I was so inspired by the story, because I heard you speak, and of course you were a big radio personality. But that's not the truth.
Oh.
Okay.
I bought the book for nefarious reasons.
Yes.
Because I had a little crush. So
my
thought process was, let me explain. So my thought process was, I'm going to buy the book, and then JJ is going to see me at a coffee shop or at Papado's or somewhere like that, and I'm going to have the book with me.
Yes. I'll be like,
so yeah. That was going to be my opening. That was how I was going to slide in.
I love that.
And so I walked around with this damn book for 6 months.
Dang.
She never was anywhere I was at. So
that
I read the
so
book.
Funny.
No, it's the truth. So I read the book the first time, and I'll be honest with you. I read this book 3 times.
Oh my gosh.
I read the book the first time, and I'll be honest, it was really difficult for me to marry the person that you're speaking about in the book and the personality that you are on social media and when you speak and even on the radio. I'm like, this doesn't even sound like the same person. And so there was a part of me that was like, how can anyone go through this? Because the dude Stacy was a beast. I mean, seriously. And so reading through the pages, I couldn't coincide the personalities. This huge, this amazing, strong, just personification of a strong black woman. And then I'm reading these pages and I'm like, how does this work?
So different.
Right. So different. Almost like you're talking about someone totally not you. And I don't really know you. I don't know you. But what I know is what everyone else knows. What the personality you put out there. So how was it writing the book?
Oh, it was really difficult to write. It took me 2 years to just get it all out because you have to revisit it, and I wasn't completely healed from it. And so reading it and kind of going through those things over and over, and when I released the book, which ironically I released it 3 years ago today.
Oh wow!
And so
congratulations!
Yes, congratulations.
3 years. I was like, wow, this is great.
It's like a anniversary.
It
like
is
a birthday because you gave birth to something. So.
And so much has happened since then. But I don't know. It was tough when you look at that person because you're right. That person. It wasn't that person wasn't strong, right? It's just you're in a situation where you are so broken and hurt. And I wanted people to see that because this is what I know to be true. I was that person who was judgmental to other women. Why don't she just leave? I mean, if somebody's abusing you, why you just don't go, and how many of us have sat back and saw something, or we see, celebrities, like, let's just be real. You have like Emily B and Fabulous right now. Everyone saw what happened to her, right? We saw her face. You got a tooth knocked out or whatever. Like, look at what this man did. And it's like we sit back on the outside and say, well, how can you stay with it? And it's like, I know how she could stay. And the first thing we want to say is, it's money. Well, Stacey ain't have a pot to piss in. So it ain't about money. It's not about money. It's about manipulation. It's about control. It's about a person being in a relationship and it feels like an addiction. You know what I mean? And I say this all the time to people when they're trying to understand it. It's like a smoker. If I come to you and you smoke and I'm like, hey, stop smoking. You know what it does to you? I can pull up YouTube and show you videos of what smoking does to you. And you're like, yeah, I know. But guess what? It's still hard for me to stop smoking because it's an addiction. And it's very similar in these abusive relationships. So it was important for me to write the book and tell the story because I had to check myself like, whoa. Now I see what it is. And it has nothing to do with not being strong, because everyone who the people find victims who are strong so that they can break you down.
About writing your story and going back and reading your words.
Oh man,
it's like an aha moment.
It's cathartic.
Even if you're no longer in that space. Just to be able to reflect on that space that you were once in and be able to say, either you're one or two things. Either you're grateful that you're no longer in that space, or you're either going to find your way back to that space. It's either one or two things. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
So either you're finding your way or you lost your way. So I wanted to ask you, because you talked about getting help. And now you're in the position now where you're a mentor of sorts. People are coming to you for that very help. At what point in your journey did you get that spiritual nudge to say it's time for you to allow your story to be a part of your calling?
Oh my gosh. I mean, that's such a great question. And because I do so many different things, it's like, it's life. It's just life. So, I have a child. I have a 12-year-old now. I started my foundation when she went to kindergarten, and I'm hearing my daughter talk about things at school, and I'm like, it scared me to death to think my daughter may be influenced by other girls at school that weren't great role models. So then that's what caused me to start the foundation, the IME Foundation. You know what I mean? Right. So that it's just life. You know, last year I came out of another abusive relationship. And, you know, when you go through something again, it becomes embarrassing. It's like, well, come on now, Jay. Like, you got to get it together. Like, how do you do this again? Mm-hmm. And it's like telling that story and then seeing how many women and men, for that matter, reached out to me saying, hey, I've gone through this too, and I'm going through it now, and I'm suffering from depression, and I've had suicidal ideation also, and you know, how did you get help, and this, and this, and it's like, well, I got the tools. You know what I mean? Like, I know I already had the tools. Right. It's just when you're in that type of relationship, you can't see it. No. And that abuse is so insidious. Like, it just does, you don't see it coming. And so once I was able to,
because it's gradual, it doesn't happen overnight. It's not like, you know, it happens in small, subtle steps.
It's
and
like
before
seeping.
You know it, it's almost like brainwashing.
Oh no,
it's like training. It's like grooming. It's like Stockholm.
It is. It really is.
There's this great quote you have in the back of the book from Maya Angelou that I thought was really awesome. Where it says, as soon as healing takes place, go out and heal somebody else. Yeah. Which I love that because it really does speak to the fact that, okay, I've been through this, now I'm going to help other people. But in reading the book, you see how Stacey, it was a systematic process. You know, there was this really great moment at the beginning where y'all clicked and he was saying all the right things. And it was just like, oh, my God, where you've been all my life, 4-hour phone calls, the whole nine. Yeah. And then just along this journey, you read how he just flips the script. And it goes from, you know, it's like a roller coaster, right? Yeah. So it's like these highs and then these incredible lows. Yeah. And I feel, and I've talked about this with the narcissist. I mean, obviously he was a sociopath, but there was also some narcissism there too, right? Yeah. Well, how the narcissist will endear you to him or her and have you holding on to a moment. Oh, yeah. Right? So you're just trying to get back to that moment.
Just trying to get back. That moment, I can get back to it.
That moment of vulnerability, that moment of intense love or whatever. Yeah. And just watching this process as he slowly but surely literally dissects you, surgically dissects you from yourself, I can totally understand how you can be in the situation, not see the forest for the trees, and then get out of the situation and be like, oh my God, how'd that happen to me? But it wasn't you. It was who he created, right?
It is. And you know, it's so dangerous. It's so dangerous because and I talk about this in the book, you know, there were 2 women that I met that were in relationships with him. Oh, man, and they overlapped each other. Yeah. And then me and one of the girls, we overlapped each other. And like these women.
Always keep a harem.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
You find out all of this when it's over. You're like, you was
right. And they helped me to heal. Yeah. Like if it wasn't for them, having somebody who understood what I was going through is what helped me to heal. And then look at, you know, last year I come out of another relationship and I have 15 women who reach out to me who've dated this same person saying, hey, I understand, I've gone through this too.
And you don't even, you can't even have any type of animosity towards these women. You actually feel sorry for them because
you know what it is.
You know what they went through.
You know what it is. Yeah. And I mean, I talk about that too in the book. You know, you go back and you look at these other women that were there and Stacey was just like the player from the Himalayas. He had women everywhere. And now, you know, when you're in it, you're so angry because you don't know what it is. But then now you look back and you're like, man, some of these women still deal with him after all these years. And y'all can't let go because he has your brain so twisted. It's scary.
It's an addiction.
But he did something. And I the reason I love the book so much is because from a man's point of view, the second time I read the book, when I realized that you wasn't checking for me. He's
still shooting his shot, y'all.
No, I'm not shooting anything. I was explaining what happened. And when I realized that, you know, okay, JJ don't like to go out to eat, obviously.
Oh my God.
I've been everywhere.
That is so funny.
No, but the second time I read the book, what I realized was, you know, as you're going through this process, I love the fact that, well, first of all, you were very transparent, which that had to be terrifying.
Yeah.
But I love the fact how you tied the treatment from your mother to the treatment from Stacey, and how it was all in the same, you know, there were some parallels.
Oh, yeah.
So in dating, in your opinion, how much of our past do we bring into the dating world? How much does it impact us?
All of it.
Yeah.
You really do. And you do it. Sometimes you're doing it subconsciously. You know what I mean? Like, I found people who, it's so interesting. I found people who treated me like my mother. But you don't realize that. It's not like you're looking, you know, how we always hear, well, you know, a woman's always looking for somebody like her daddy, or, you know, she's looking for her daddy. And it's like, you know what? We actually probably search for people who are like both of our parents somehow, and we don't realize it. So, you know, I'm staying in a relationship the little girl in me is still trying to get this attention from her mother.
Feel a void.
You know what I mean? So it's like, hey, I'm here. Look at me. Look at me. And it's like the little girl is still in pain. And she's like, hey, all I'm trying to do is get my mom's attention. Yeah. All I'm trying to do is let her know I exist.
That when they come in the room after they spank you real good, and then they come in the room to have that talk with you.
You know I love you.
Kind of let you know, I love you.
I didn't get that talk.
You know,
I got the beat down without the talk. Though.
I stopped getting the talk. I stopped getting the talk at a really young age.
Yeah.
But you would always be waiting on that talk, is
Oh,
what
yeah.
I mean.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah,
And even in
yeah.
relationships, you would kind of, even after you take that beat down, you're holding on, waiting on that talk.
And he did
Whether
that.
it's an emotional, physical, or however type of beat down, you're holding on to that talk.
Yeah.
And the way they work, the sociopaths, the narcissists, all of them, they give you a glimpse of that moment that you're still holding on to after they do whatever it is that would trigger you to leave. They give you a glimpse of hope that they've changed back to that person.
Well, he went so far as, because you speak about how your mom was never really, you know, she never gave you hugs and, you know, not physically intimate. Right. And so it's almost like he used that against you, and that when he would take you through this drama or whatever with some other girl, then he would be overly affectionate, cry, text you, I love you, I need you, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Almost just dragging you back into that space, man.
Look, girl, listen.
So
it's a Stacey out there in every city.
So as a man who, you know, doesn't engage in that behavior, it's really hard to read the book or whatever, and see someone who I think, and most people would probably think, you don't have to go through this. Yeah. Like, you have your pick of the litter. You can be with anybody you want. But there's a powerlessness that I think some of us on the outside feel, because, you know, you talk about how your friends just didn't like him. They were trying to get you to, you know, leave. But even as a man, when I speak on this subject, I'm accused of being a pick-me or, you know, a panderer, because I'm checking other men with the behavior that I see a lot of that on social media. I see a lot of it in dating groups where men are behaving in that way. They're just tearing women down, and the ones that are looking for that, they go to those men for some type of affirmation. It's like, this dude don't like nobody, but he likes me. Right. So that means I'm special.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
Right?
Yep. Yeah. Oh, my gosh. I mean, there's just so many different layers to it. You know, it's like when I look at, you know, the differences between Stacey and maybe the last person that I dated who was abusive. You know, Stacey, like you said, he was a sociopath. Sociopaths can be narcissistic, whereas a narcissist isn't necessarily a sociopath, right? Stacey would do things, you know, like you said, to draw me back in. He was a master of it. And the biggest issue I think that needs to be talked about is noticing those signs. And when you see the signs, like, hey, listen, because men are in these relationships too. When you see the signs, let's back it up.
Right.
And I mean, the first
bring it out
sign,
all the time.
Like, why is it that we are so forgiving, especially in relationships? Because when our friends do stupid stuff, we'll be like, oh, you know, all right, we'll try to work it out because that's my girl, you know. But when you're in a relationship, why is it that we don't say, hey, this, we can't stick around for this. So, in the book, the first thing I remember is seeing the shoes. And there was a woman who I saw her, like, I saw her shoes, I saw her sweater. And it was just like, that should have been it. Jillian, out. Let's go. But instead, I let you talk me out of it. My past relationship that I came out of last year, it was very similar, where it was like, but it was more insidious, where it was just, I see text messages on the phone. Like, I'm not going through the phone. Like, you're sitting there with me because you don't care if I see it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But, I miss you. Well, who misses you at 1:00 in the morning?
Right.
Right.
And then it's just, that's just,
Yeah.
And it's like, that right there is a red flag.
Right.
Yeah.
But we want something so bad that we will, and like you said, you want to go back to what it was. Like, we have some good times. Y'all, abusers are not abusers all the time.
Right.
No.
So you find those moments that are amazing, and you want to go back to those moments. I got to bring it back to that time when we went to the amusement park and we had so much fun, and I met his family and it was great. Like, I want that back. But this is who this person really is, and you're seeing it.
Right.
And you won't accept it.
Right.
You won't trust the feeling that's in your stomach that says, this don't feel right.
Right.
Because you want it to be what you want it to be so bad. That is long. And in a lot of people, and I was guilty, I admit, we sometimes, as long as nobody else see it to hold us accountable for putting up with it, we'll stay. But sometimes once you know that other people know, that is sometimes that push to say, you know what, that's where you have to kind of decide between your pride and your moral accountability. Like, and
stop justifying, like, this is a thing too, because both of these people, I know your background. So I know, Stacy, his father wasn't in his life. There's a reason why your father left you. And I really wish to this day that I could sit and talk to his dad. Like, what happened? Because I have a feeling that, and I talk about the other people in his family who suffer from mental illness. I really feel like that's why your dad left. He realized there's something wrong with everybody here. And he got up out. But I felt bad for him.
Yeah.
Oh, well, this is why he's like this, because, see, his dad left him and he don't want to have nothing to do with him. You only hear his side of the story, right? So I only know what he tells me about his dad. Right? In my last relationship, it was the same thing. It was an issue with the father. And now I'm starting to see, like, this, the parallel here. Like, okay, and then there's the mom who worships you. And there's both of these guys have mothers who worship them, and it's just like where they can do no harm.
Even the sister went after you. You had
my
audacity.
first day at college, and this girl was like, my brother is sitting here crying in my mother's arms, and I'm like, you have no idea how much crying I have done for an entire year. Every moment with this man has been teardrops, and it's like, you can only see, and this is the thing too, like we talk about people not knowing who a narcissist is. If somebody told me today my brother was a narcissist, I'll be like, get out of here.
Right.
But then because of my own experiences, I have to say, you know what? My brother could be. Because guess what? I don't sleep with my brother. I'm not in an intimate relationship with my brother. I don't live with my brother. I don't spend all day with my brother. Like, we got to recognize when somebody says, hey, something ain't right about this person, believe them. Believe them. Because unless you are in a relationship with somebody, you have no idea. We work with narcissists every day, right?
Oh, yeah.
We can't. Like, you don't know. You know
right.
what I mean? Because you're not at home with them. So you have no idea who a narcissist might be. But I believe people.
Now, it seems to me like in all of this growth and reflection, like that helped you with your IME Foundation. I want you to give us a little insight into that and where that's, how that's grown.
In so many different ways. So the IME Foundation, we've been around since 2010. I've been doing this IME tour for 7 years now, primarily in A-Leaf schools. And it's an 8-week program. It covers everything: robotics, healthy cooking, goal setting, beauty and style, health and fitness. It's just mental health, everything. And so the big thing for me in the last couple of years has just been trying to teach my girls about healthy versus unhealthy relationships. Because what I'm finding is you got to get to these girls when they are young, because especially the at-risk girls, because at home they're not seeing a great representation of what a healthy relationship looks like.
Right.
And it's not their fault. You know what I mean? So it's like, I need to teach you what it is that you're not going to really be able to see, and try to guide them in the right direction. Because the girls that I talk to in college, it's blowing my mind what these women are dealing with. And they just have no idea that they're in abusive relationships.
Yeah.
Oh, well, he pushed me, but he didn't hit me.
Right.
Hey, like, I need y'all to know this is unacceptable.
My phone, or he's just, but that's abuse.
He's yelling at me. I mean, he talks about, my body all the time and da-da-da-da, and it's just like, y'all don't know.
Oh, he don't like it when I go hang out with my friends. Isolation is the first step of abuse.
That was crazy. So he not only isolated you from your friends, but even tried to mar the relationship between you and your family.
Oh, yeah.
Like the comment that he made about your brother and everything like that. And so it does. It's like, if I can just get you by yourself, where you don't have that network, then you're not listening to that dissenting voice. Because I'm sure if you're constantly going out with, if you have brunch every Sunday with your girlfriends, and every Sunday your girlfriends are saying, leave him. At some point you're going to be like, maybe I should leave him. but
that's
when
the
he
thing
takes
we
you away
feel.
from
But
that,
see, that's the thing. It's like,
no, what they do is they cause a rift in those relationships so that those bridges are kind of burned or unstable.
Yeah.
So, and what ends up happening is you have to choose between your friend and your relationship.
Yeah.
And then so once you choose your relationship over your friends, now you don't want to run back to those friends and say, hey, you were right.
You were right. Oh,
so now you're isolating yourself from pride. It's a complicated type of thing. Yeah.
It's a real game, and you have to recognize it when it's happening, and it's tough.
Yeah.
So I was listening to some of the Respect My Crown podcast, which I think is dope.
Thank you.
Kind of salty about the fact that ain't no
guys on there.
I'm just saying. I know how y'all roll. But I thought it was so interesting how I was
Black girl magic.
I was actually talking to a really good friend of mine about this, how women, especially black women, in the last, I'd say 5 years, you have really taken ownership of one another, not just yourselves, but one another. This whole black girl magic thing is just amazing to me. How black women have decided we're no longer going to fight with each other. Yeah. We're going to celebrate one another. We're just going to we're going to go to brunch. We're going to get us some mimosas, and we're going to be good. Yeah. How has that played into everything that you're doing as far as this concept of sisterhood, giving other women voices the way you have? How has that played into either your healing process or this whole process you're going through? Oh my
gosh. I mean, Respect My Crown, when I created this movement, Respect My Crown, originally it was supposed to be about entrepreneurship. And God had a whole different plan. And I was like, wait, Lord, it was supposed to be this. And he's like, no, or she. And so I said, okay, I'm supposed to help with healing. We're supposed to help to break some chains here and break some of these generational curses. And I started by doing events called The Gathering, where women would come out and, our first gathering was jam-packed with over 60 women who had been abused, who had dated narcissists. And it was like, whoa. And just hearing these women tell their stories and creating a safe space for them to share, that was healing, right? For me. And I'm thinking I'm doing something for other people, but it helped me. And then continuing to do that, it's just amazing because you can't grow without transparency. You can't grow without listening to other people's stories. I mean, just think, even just for yourself as a man, when you hear a story about someone that you admire, like, it makes you feel like, shoot, but I can do this. Like, I know I can do this. If I can see or read about someone who has overcome something during a time where life is challenging, then that's the boost that I need. I need to just see that it's been done. You know what I mean? And that's what these women are able to do. They're able to sit back and say, oh, I've met somebody who is healed from this. So I know that it's possible. And now that I know, you know, and I'm getting the tools from this person through their own experience. So you got a lot of people who are out here calling themselves relationship experts and all of this, and y'all ain't ever been through anything, you know, and you trying to tell people to do, you know, what they should do based off of what you think in your mind versus experience. And it's like, no, tell me when you've gone through something. You know,
hello.
No, I feel that. Don't tell me what to do. Tell me what you did.
Tell me what you did.
Yeah. How did you get through it? So, what is next for JJ on the mic? What's on the horizon?
Man, let's see. I mean, you know, I've been toying with going back to radio in the last year.
Yes.
I don't know what it looks like. I miss radio. I miss talking to the listeners and meeting amazing people, connecting with great people. I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know what's next.
Whatever God has for you.
Yeah, like I really can say right now, you know, I'm doing my speaking full time. This year it's been crazy. This has been the craziest year, and I'm most grateful for this year because this year I've been able to go to London and speak and Australia and speak, and God has opened doors that I just did not see coming this year, despite the craziness that has taken place this year. And I'm just so grateful. So right now I am just basking in gratitude and waiting for God to continue to open up doors for me, because I feel like when you say like what's next, like I do not know. But I know whatever is coming, I am so ready for it.
Amen.
Yes.
Receive that. So tell the people, the lovely people, where we can find you. Is your website?
Yeah. jjonthemic.com is my website.
Your Instagram.
And JJ on the Mic is my Instagram, my Facebook.
Don't try to follow her on Facebook, because I tried. I've been trying for 4 years.
Oh,
I know you have a fan page, though, right?
I do have a fan page.
Every 30 days.
Jillian Simmons is my fan
Every 30 days, I go back to her Facebook page and try to like it.
I'm about to find you,
I'm
so
hoping
I can do it today.
I'm hoping she had 5,000 and somebody piss her off and she gets to 4,999.
I will unfollow.
And then I can slide in there.
No, and then my books, Respect My Crown, my affirmation journal, Without Bruises, and my latest workbook that I released this year is called All Falls Down, a daily study of scripture to lift you up when life has knocked you down. And all of those are available on my site or on Amazon.
That is
awesome.
Dope.
All right, MixNSingles. I'm still cheesing over here. We got JJ on the mic in the building.
We would take you all night. Maybe we're going to have to bring you back for a future show.
Come
back. I'll come back. I would look a lot better when I come back.
Oh, no worries.
I was
you are gorgeous. You're a queen.
Well, thank
you're beautiful. Hey.
I definitely think you should bring back. What was the segment you used to do? The
midday drama.
The midday drama. Yeah, that definitely needs to come back in some form.
It's always some drama out there. There's always some drama out there.
Well, we want to thank you guys so much for listening. As always, it's the MixNSingles podcast. We will be back November the 4th. We're not going to take a break.
Actually, we'll be back next Monday, October 28th. Same time, same place. We'll have some awesome guests in store for you. So stay tuned. We'll be promoting. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at MixNSingle. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're trying to get 1,000 subscribers. So come on over, subscribe. Like our page. Yeah. Follow us on Facebook as well.
Yeah, where can we find you at?
Events. Oh, you can find me, Oney, Onney, the CEO, on all social media platforms.
You got anything coming up except traveling? Because you know you stay out the country.
You know, I have a video release that I'll be announcing soon, coming in November.
I hate going after you. I ain't
So
doing nothing.
stay tuned on that. And we'll also be releasing another movie soon from Brothers Forever Productions. So stay tuned for that as well. I'll have all that information on the next show on Monday. So stay tuned. Follow us on all our social media platforms, and we hope to see you next week.
You can follow me, Tony Massey Speaks. I'm going to be posting some pictures of my shoes and stuff. Thank you so much for listening. We'll catch you next time. JJ, thank you so much for coming in. We really enjoyed it. Make sure you get the books. Make sure you're following her on social media. Go to her page. Even if you can't be a part of the stuff she's doing, support it. We need this more than anything. We need to build up our communities, and it starts with our relationships, and that starts with building up ourselves. MixNSingles Podcast. We will catch you next week. We out.